What is going on, you guys? My name is CodyT503 and this is Interesting Podcast. Coming to you guys on April 13th, 2023 for episode 34, where today we have some more pro wrestling news. Logan Paul reveals what he wants after re-signing with WWE. A former WWE star comments on a potential return. MVP comments on his retirement from WWE. And Jon Moxley gives his opinion on AEW's backstage chaos. We're going to break down everything and then discuss it all right here, right now, on Interesting Podcast. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you guys get notified whenever I upload content. Make sure to go and follow me on social media at CodyT503. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Let's get right into this. Now, as always, this is being brought to you guys by the Spotlight News. Logan Paul reveals what he wants after re-signing with WWE. Logan Paul is one of the most talented celebrities that has ever stepped foot in the squared circle, despite only competing in 5 matches so far. Logan has earned the respect of a lot of wrestling personalities. The Maverick received a lot of opportunities to showcase his talent on WWE television than any other celebrity. Last November, Logan Paul was so close to winning the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at the Crown Jewel Premium Live event. The 27-year-old star last competed at WrestleMania 39, where he lost to Seth Rollins. Logan Paul recently announced that he has renewed his contract with WWE. In an interview with ESPN, Logan Paul stated that he has an idea to capture the WWE Championship someday. This is what Logan Paul had to say, and I quote, "I wouldn't have signed this contract if I didn't think that I was capable of getting a WWE belt. I think it'd be the coolest thing ever. I'd love to have it on my resume, and I'd love to show every kid around the world who watches WWE that you can achieve anything." End quote. See, now this is the interesting thing when it comes to Logan Paul, is yes, based off of these celebrities that we have gotten in WWE, Logan Paul has actually done the best out of the bunch. You know, whether it be Bad Bunny or Johnny Knoxville. You know, Logan Paul, when he stepped in, people were kind of doubting whether or not a YouTube influencer would be able to come into WWE and do the WWE model of a professional wrestler. But with Logan Paul's influence in WWE, I'm not really surprised that it would be in his contract that he's going to get a WWE championship, because you know WWE would love to have somebody who is as big of an influencer as Logan Paul holding their WWE championship, and especially given that just at WrestleMania, when it said that he was going up against Seth Rollins, there was a segment where Logan Paul sent KSI through the announce table, and just that clip on social media got 27.5 million views. So it's like he obviously has that following that WWE is really wanting to attach to, because they want some of his fans to come over and watch the show just to see Logan Paul, and then maybe they could become a fan of the product by having to watch the show in anticipation to actually see Logan Paul in the ring. But with Logan Paul being a WWE champion, okay, this has got to come out as a multi-year deal, because I don't think that, yes, Logan Paul was able to face Roman Reigns at the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view, or Crown Jewel pay-per-view, sorry. But I don't feel like at that time, I think everybody knew that Roman Reigns was going to end up beating Logan Paul. If WWE wants to give Logan Paul a WWE championship run, then they're going to have to build something over a period of time, because we don't want the same backlash that Cody Rhodes got, you know, going into WrestleMania, where people were saying that he hadn't done enough to earn the opportunity. We don't need that to happen with Logan Paul. So it needs to actually be built up, and it needs to mean something, because I think everybody knows that it's been teased about John Cena and Logan Paul and them both having a match one day. So with that already being on the table, I feel like this has kind of got to be pushed off until maybe WrestleMania 41 if they really wanted to, make a major star and really give him that presence. I would wait until WrestleMania or around that time, because WrestleMania 41 could be in Las Vegas. And this is something I was just thinking about, is like the UFC and boxing, because Jake Paul and Logan Paul have both done boxing matches, and Jake Paul is a big professional boxer. Well, they both hold events in Las Vegas, and everybody knows that WrestleMania will be going to Las Vegas at some point in the near future. And with them converging with the UFC, I could definitely see them wanting to push to have a WrestleMania in Las Vegas, and I could see not only Dana White or WWE wanting Logan Paul to be a major part of a event that is happening in Las Vegas, just because, like I said, of his influence. He has so much of it that, like, of course, like, WWE is going to want him to be WWE champion. I'm just worried about how they get there, and they need to do something to build him up so that it actually means something. Really, really interesting. So a former WWE star comments on a potential WWE return. Eva Marie made her return to WWE on the June 14th, 2021 episode of Monday Night Raw. She was supposed to compete against Naomi in that episode of Raw. However, then Doudrop picked up the victory on behalf of Eva Marie. The 38-year-old star then started a storyline with Alexa Bliss. The two women faced each other at the 2021 SummerSlam, where Bliss picked up the victory. The same night, Eva Marie's protege, Doudrop, turned on her. Eva Marie last competed on the September 20th, 2021 episode of Monday Night Raw, where she lost to Doudrop. A week later, she was brutally attacked by Shayna Baszler. Eva Marie was released from the company in November of the same year. In an interview with WrestleZone, the former Total Diva was asked whether she would like to return to WWE. Marie stated that she and WWE are in constant contact and the company always welcomes her. She had this to say, and I quote, "Of course, that door is always open. I mean, we're in constant talks. When I had originally left, I was filming my first lead action movie, so that door is definitely one of those things that is always open, and I'm definitely down to always come, cause some trouble, and stir up some things. That's for sure." End quote. So that is the status of Eva Marie actually coming back to WWE, and that's what she had to say. But we will actually keep you guys updated on if we get any news or any breaking news on Eva Marie making her return to WWE. MVP comments on his retirement from WWE. MVP made his in-ring return in the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match after spending 10 years in the independent circuit. A few months later, MVP aligned with Bobby Lashley and formed the Hurt Business faction along with Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. A year later, WWE management decided to disband the Hurt Business faction. MVP was stuck with Bobby Lashley as his manager before turning on Lashley in April of 2022. MVP is now managing 7'3", 400-pound Nigerian giant Omos on WWE television. Many fans questioned MVP's in-ring status due to MVP not competing for a long time. The former United States champion tweeted that he hasn't retired from in-ring competition. This is what MVP said, and I quote, "I haven't officially retired. I still have a few matches left in me, but not many. My final match hasn't happened yet, but it probably isn't too far off in the distant future either. I enjoy my current role. I promise you I will tell you when I've had my last match." End quote. MVP last competed on the July 18th, 2022 episode of Monday Night Raw, where he and Omos lost to the Street Profits. See, this is actually something I wanted to kind of touch on you guys a little bit, because like it is really cool to always see these old legends that come back and they get their retirement match. And the only thing that I can say about MVP is, one, I remember watching him growing up, because it was in 2005 during Friday Night SmackDown. And on that program is when he was facing like Mr. Kennedy and Fit Finlay and Mark Henry and The Undertaker and, you know, just all like Kane, like all those really, really good superstars. And he was really, really good in the ring. Like I loved like his whole baller character, you know? And I just hope that WWE doesn't do what they did to Rhino, because it was a few years ago in 2018 when Rhino wanted to step away from WWE. They just did not even give him any spotlight. Like I think he ended up having his last match at a random WWE event on the road, and it's like that is not something that we want as fans, especially when we actually respect these people and we've been watching them for years, and like we actually want like a capping of a story, you know. And I just hope that MVP can actually maybe get a decent match. I mean, he could end up going out against Shelton Benjamin. He could do Cedric Alexander. He could do Omos. I'm not really sure about Bobby Lashley, just because Bobby Lashley doesn't need to be put over like I think a Cedric Alexander could use the rub, or an Omos could use the rub. But as far as people that MVP can face that would actually mean something, it's very few and far between. So it'd be really interesting to not only see WWE actually do something for MVP as far as his retirement, but who they actually have him go up against, because I feel like it's going to be another passing of the torch moment. But who could MVP possibly pass that torch to without it just amounting to nothing in today's WWE landscape? Really, really interesting. So Jon Moxley gives his opinion on AEW's backstage chaos. Sorry about that little hiccup, you guys. I just got a call about my son, so I had to take that really fast. But Jon Moxley gives his opinion on AEW's backstage chaos. In 2019, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks started All Elite Wrestling as an alternative promotion for WWE. AEW obtained huge success in the first 2 years. AEW president Tony Khan then signed several former WWE stars and independent wrestlers to the company to boost the ratings. As a result, Khan faced many problems due to the lack of television time for a massive roster. Some wrestlers publicly criticized their booking, which gave the company a bad reputation. Last year, several wrestlers were reportedly involved in backstage fights. Meanwhile, the infamous all-out backstage fight made a huge black mark on All Elite Wrestling. In an interview with Renee Paquette, Jon Moxley stated that he has never seen so much drama in one place. Moxley also said that everyone talking about backstage drama instead of wrestlers' performances. This is what Jon Moxley had to say, and I quote, "I will say this, and I hate to say it. I don't think I've ever said anything even remotely negative about AEW, but I will say this. As an observer, it seems like, I spent 8 years on the indies. I spent a couple years in WWE developmental. I spent like 8 years in WWE. I have never seen so much drama in one place in my entire life. I hate to say it, but it's like, and I don't know if it's because of the age of social media that gets blown out of proportion. Like one person types one stupid drunk tweet and all of a sudden it's all anybody wants to talk about. We're sitting up here doing a podcast. You know what we're not talking about? We're not talking about the stellar match by Vikingo and Kenny Omega and all the cool stuff going on in AEW. We're not talking about this great pay-per-view we just had. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about bullshit. End quote. See, that's like it's really interesting when you think about Jon Moxley and him being so honest. And he's going to be very blunt and very forward about everything. Like we've seen it on multiple occasions, whether he goes on to Chris Jericho's podcast or even Renee podcast or Unrestricted. Like he's very unfiltered, and he's going to speak what's on his mind. And I feel like people like Chris Jericho, people like Kenny Omega, people like the Young Bucks, they're not going to go out there and they're not going to explain all of that stuff. They're not going to expose all of those backstage segments or like backstage drama, especially with them being an EVP. But I feel like we can trust Jon Moxley in what he has to say because of the fact that he is going to be unfiltered. So when people say that there is a lot of backstage drama in AEW, and it's probably because of the fact that there is disgruntled superstars. There's going to be people that haven't been used to their full potential. And, okay, check this out. This is really freaking interesting. So a lot of people will say that it was completely okay what Sasha Banks and Naomi had done because of their creative differences, and that they should have been used this way because they know the kind of caliber of superstar they are or what they can do in the ring. But it's like, but who's to say that some people in AEW can't feel that same exact way about what Sasha Banks felt in WWE? And I feel like a lot of people have this mentality like everything in AEW is good, or like, everybody's happy because they get to do what they want. But obviously having creative freedom isn't always the best thing, because of the fact that there's going to be creative differences between superstars, between storylines, and it's like it makes it a clusterfuck. And I could totally see it being backstage just out of control, like just like you said, like so much drama in one place. And it's like that's really weird to also hear, because it's like Tony Khan should be a little bit more on top of it to get people to not have so much drama and just go there and do what they need to do and really be a locker room leader. Because in 2016 I had the honor of meeting AJ Styles, and I got to ask him, what was it like for you to go to all of these different companies and then take a step back and look at all of them and then distinguish which ones you actually liked because of how they ran things? And he had brought up Dixie Carter and Impact. He brought up, New Japan Pro Wrestling and them going through multiple management. And then he was talking about him coming to WWE and how Vince and everybody there, they knew what they wanted to do, and or at least in 2016 at that time they knew what they wanted to do. And it's like I can kind of see that happening in AEW, where it's like people go there and like they're not going to know exactly what's going to happen, or and it's just like I could see it where even if AJ Styles is saying that there are companies out there on the indies, on whatever, that do have those toxic locker rooms, and then for Jon Moxley to come out and say that he hasn't seen so much drama in one place, I can't even imagine everything that isn't being reported that actually happens backstage in AEW. But I hope that everything turns around, because I have been thinking about watching some AEW, and I would love to go back. But it's like when you hear reports like this and you see sometimes the way that Tony Khan carries himself on social media, it makes it very, very difficult to want to go out and actually invest my time in a promotion that really, quite frankly, has so much drama behind it. It's freaking crazy and really, really interesting. Anyway, man, those are those are the stories that we have for today. It was April 13th, 2023 for episode 44. This was Interesting Podcast. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Ring that notification bell so you guys get notified whenever I upload content. Make sure to go and follow me on social media at CodyT503. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And I will be back this Thursday with some more WWE news. I'll catch you guys later.